In this kind of head-to-head competition, victory belongs to the swift. In the world of lawn and garden tractors, a head-to-head race with wide-open throttles would give us a winner all right, but that wouldn't prove a thing. It wouldn't tell us about the overall quality of the tractors, how they're made, how long they last, or whether customers are satisfied with them. It wouldn't tell us if they're easy to use or comfortable to operate. And it wouldn't show us how they perform, where it counts, in the engines, brakes, transaxles, and drive systems. So, a race? Pretty worthless. But we can still have a good competition by logically and honestly pointing out what makes the John Deere 300 series the highest quality, most comfortable, easiest to operate, and best performing tractor in its class. We're going to compare the 300 series to the Cub Cadet 3185 by MTD, the Toro 518XI, and the Kubota TG 1860G. Let's start with a comparison of quality, and that begins where there is no comparison: resale value. To win this event, a tractor has to have reliability and durability built in. A year, 5 years, even 10 years out of the starting blocks, John Deere lawn and garden tractors stand not at the head of their class, but in a class above every other competitor for resale value. John Deere does it by mastering the basics, like the tractor frame. On the Deere 300 series, it's fully arc welded, as are the Kubota and the Toro, versus the Cub, which is spot welded and bolted together. That's especially important in the engine mount area, where strength is needed most. Also, Deere is the only one that allows you to put front weights on the tractor without an additional bracket or frame modification. Next up, hoods. The Cub and the Toro have metal hoods. But what happens when a metal hood gets scratched or run into? Rust happens, dents happen, chipping and flaking paint, reduced strength and less protection for the engine below. This plastic Kubota hood won't rust, and dents shouldn't be a problem. But it is quite flexible, and it's surface painted, so it can chip and peel. Then there's the hood on the 300 series, made of xenoi, a polymer used in car and truck bumpers. The color is molded in, so if you do get a scratch, it'll be green. This hood will never rust, and you can't dent it. See how well these edges meet? That's part of what engineers call fit and finish, and it's important to customers. When a tractor fits together this well and looks this good, you can be sure it was built to tight tolerances and high standards, even in the little things. Check out the Toro and Kubota dashboards with thin plastic that doesn't hold its shape, and these ill-fitting pieces on the Cub. And the Kubota's scraping hood, chipping paint, unglued foot pad, and rusted muffler shield. Cub, Toro, and Kubota all use metal mesh panels to help cool the engine compartment. On the Cub, this panel was bowed out, coming apart, rusting after just a few hours of use. Attention to detail. Because of its exceptional fit and finish, a John Deere 300 series tractor just looks better. No other tractor can match Deere's E-Coat paint system, and a Deere will ride more smoothly. Our comparison of comfort and ease of use begins with the seat. On the Cub, the seat adjusts forward and back 5 3/4 inches. The Toro seat adjusts a respectable 5 inches. The Kubota seat is also adjustable, a mere 3.9 inches. Plus, on the tractor we tested, the seat did not lock into place when slid all the way back. The high-back John Deere 300 series seat is made of a shock-absorbing material that helps ease the ride. And only John Deere offers these seat springs, adjustable to match the weight of the driver. And with a full 7 inches of forward and back adjustment, that makes for a mighty comfortable ride. What about controls? Well, imitation may be flattering, But take a look at these tractors. Dashboards, pedals, PTO controls and Rio systems, mower attachment systems. But with this kind of competition to look up to, you can certainly understand why the rest want to copy the best. The John Deere control layout is elegant, simple, logical. Color coding and comprehensive markings make controls instantly recognizable. Placement, color, even the shape of these controls were carefully thought out. Contrast that with a Toro dash. Is this an instrument cluster or an instrument clump? The steering tilt lever can actually block your access to the mower control. Other differences? The Cub's tilt steering wheel is hard to operate and could easily pinch. The upright, elevated Kubota steering wheel doesn't tilt at all. Toro and Kubota use a treadle pedal, less comfortable, more awkward, and much harder to operate than the Deere Twin Touch system, with separate pedals on separate shafts. When it comes to cruise control, well, it isn't available on the 518xi or on the Kubota. Here's how you set the cruise on the 300 series. Here's the Cub Cadet by MTD. The John Deere cut height control is easily adjustable from the seat in quarter-inch increments for precision cutting. Kubota uses a similar cut height knob, but it only adjusts in half-inch increments. Toro is more difficult when it comes to setting the cut height. There's a limited number of cut settings, and you'd have to measure to find out what they are. Cub mowers are attached loosely to the frame, so they roll on wheels and rollers that sit on the ground. Because of this design, setting the cut height is a cumbersome process. You can't do it from the seat. It's done by adjusting the wheels and rollers on the mower deck itself. The Cub Operator's Manual also recommends rotating the cutting blades by hand and measuring to make sure they're level as part of the cut height adjustment process. On the Cub, they do use a hydraulic system to raise and lower the deck. This is where the other competitors really fall down. Mower decks can weigh upwards of 100 pounds. Yet even with Kubota's manual gas assist system, it takes a great deal of force to raise the deck, especially at the top of the lift before it locks in. The Toro has a hydraulic lift system, though it whines loudly at the top and bottom of its travel. Here's the 300 series hydraulic implement lift. A pull raises the deck, and an easy push lowers it to the cut height you set. Now, let's look at engine access for basic maintenance, like changing the oil and filter. The 300 series hood opens wide to expose the entire engine. For even greater access, it's a snap to remove the hood completely. You can easily reach the air cleaner, oil drain, and filter. No tools required for a quick oil change. On the Cub, you have to remove a side panel to get at the oil drain and filter. And if you attempt to drain the oil while the engine is hot, you could burn yourself while installing this drainage tube. With the Toro, even though you have to take off a side panel to reach the oil filter, the drain is in the clear under the engine. On the Kubota, access is good, but you need a wrench to drain the oil. The clear winner, John Deere's 300 series. When we look at basic performance, the John Deere 300 series demonstrates once again why it is far and away the best in its class. On the Cub we tested, when you accelerate to a steady speed, then take your foot off the forward pedal, the tractor keeps going for several feet. In the same test, the Kubota's wheels locked up instantly, causing a skid and tearing up the grass. The Toro we tested took a little longer to stop than the Cub. Now the Deere. Starting and stopping can't get much smoother than this. On top of that, the Deere transmission is noticeably quieter. And the 300 series is the only tractor in this comparison with internal wet disc brakes. Never need adjustment, free from grass clippings, dirt, whatever might cause undue wear and tear. The others all have external dry brakes. That means you take your chances with corrosion, wear, and sticking problems, and repair bills. Powering their tractors, Deere offers 2 air-cooled and 2 liquid-cooled engines, including a diesel. Toro has 3 air-cooled and 2 liquid-cooled engines, including a diesel. Cub has 3 air-cooled models and 1 liquid-cooled, but no diesel. And Kubota offers only 2 choices, both liquid-cooled, 1 a diesel. Now, let's look at one last comparison. A lot of claims have been made about shaft drive versus belt drive. Here's the real story. Engine power is used for 2 things. 20% is used to move the tractor, while 80% is applied to run the mower deck or an attachment. All of these machines use drive shafts to transfer power from the engine to the rear wheels. To run the mower and attachments, Toro uses a mule drive belt system with its twisting, turning belts. All those twists and turns can lead to wear and tear. Kubota's vertical shaft drive engine is connected to a straight line belt system that powers the mower. Cub's complicated mower drive system uses a shaft all right, just like they claim. But a belt drives the shaft, and the shaft connects to another belt that drives the mower blades. The fact is that straight-line drive belts, like the ones on the Deere 300 series, are efficient, cost-effective, and extremely reliable. End of story.